You aren't a legitimate soldier? You haven't even witnessed battle. Sergeant Keeley's grin contorted like a razor. The others laughed, some loud enough to sting, some silently. Cadet with his shoulders squared and his fists silently clutched. At her sides, Blake stood still. She remained silent. She didn't, not when they jokingly switched out her rations. Not when her name was omitted from the training roster, particularly when they referred to her as a paper soldier, as though she hadn't suffered the same injuries as the others. It had only been 3 weeks since she was assigned to the unit. She kept her combat stories to herself. She made no attempt to establish anything. She always slept on the floor rather than her crib, ate by herself, and trained harder than anybody else. Nobody took note of that minor detail. Nobody questioned why. They observed a reserved woman without a combat patch, wearing spotless boots and giving a flawless salute. They believed she had never witnessed a fire. The ink on her wrist was hidden from their view. 5 black tally marks, fading but intentional, are engraved in straight lines. It took place throughout the examination. Carrying a clipboard, Major, Donovan patrolled the perimeter with keen eyes. As he passed each recruit, he barked and demonstrated discipline, accuracy, and chain of command. He then came to a stop in front of Blake. Sergeant Keeley mumbled as he leaned slightly closer. "Sir, her hands are the cleanest in this place." "From all that paperwork, I suppose." Some grunts gave a snort. Donovan, Major, looked at Blake. "Come on forward, Cadet." She complied without question. Her wrist twisted just enough to see the tally marks as she lifted her arm in salutation. They immediately drew his attention. He spoke more slowly. "What's that on your wrist?" She maintained eye contact. "My kill count, sir." The atmosphere changed. Jokes were sucked out. Keeley's arrogant smile disappeared. Donovan said bluntly, "Explain?" She replied, "Northern Syria, Operation Raven Shield. Someone ambushed my team, no fallback. I extracted 2 wounded and finished the job. 5 hostiles have been confirmed. Those marks are intended for that person." Donovan blinked, almost losing his grip on the clipboard. He whispered, "That op was classified. Only 1 agent survived." She gave a nod. "Sir, call sign Echo. I was that person. Nobody said anything." The quiet dragged on, this time with awe rather than condemnation. At last, all of the soldiers in that room comprehended. This woman, whom they disregarded as weak, had endured hell and returned with wounds she didn't have to show. In front of a ghost, a living legend, they had been giggling. Before Blake was summoned to the Major's office, the remainder of the day proceeded without incident. He didn't sit. He didn't have to. He only gazed at her, his gaze fixed once more on those tally marks. The after-action report was read by me. "You saved 12 lives," he remarked. "We own 2 of them. Why didn't you say anything?" She cast her gaze downward. "Because they didn't come back." "Yes, I did." "That's sufficient." He remained silent for some while. "After that, you will be reassigned. Intel Frontline. Advancement to specialist status right away. You deserve it." She gave a nod. "Indeed, sir." He moved to the side and let her go. However, he spoke more quietly this time before she got to the door. "I'm sorry, Blake. They will now see you, even though they didn't before." The messel was different the following morning. As soon as she entered, the conversation stopped. Keeley nodded silently after looking up and standing clumsily. Nor mocking, nor snarky, simply polite. The others went after them. A seat was offered, another extended a hand. The joke came to an end. Nothing could overpower the silence. Nobody addressed her by name after that. They referred to her as Echo, not a rookie, not a ghost, not a paper soldier. The one who returned was Echo. Due to the fact that actual soldiers don't always roar, they occasionally whisper. On occasion, they wear their battle on their skin rather than their sleeves. We would love to know where you are watching from in the world before we wind up. Leave a remark with your city or nation and let's see how far this narrative has come. If you were moved by this story, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comma in the comment section below.